Our lesson today is about some shapes and solids. When we said about shapes is circle, triangle, all the quadrilateral, rhombus, square, trapezium, all of this is called shapes. But the solids is cube, cuboid, cone, cylinder, sphere, it's solid. First of all, at the first term, we talk about the quadrilateral, and we will explain it again. The quadrilateral, we have two parts in quadrilateral. Quadrilateral. We have two parts. First part is trapezium. And this shape, trapezium, we need only its definition. Okay. And the other part is parallelogram. The parallelogram has definition and has 4 properties. And we have also three special cases from parallelogram. Why we can call them special cases? Because each one from them have the same properties of parallelogram. What are the three shapes? Rectangle, rhombus, and square. Okay. Now we will study each shape only. First of all, the trapezium. Trapezium, we need only its definition only. Trapezium. If we have a shape like this, this shape A, B, C, D is called trapezium. What is the definition of the trapezium? It's quadrilateral in which two opposite sides are parallel and not equal each other. Okay, we have here line segment AD parallel to line segment BC, and the length of line segment AD not equal the length of line segment BC. This shape trapezium, we need only its definition, okay? And the other part is the parallelogram. We have here the shape A, B, C, D. We have the line segment ED parallel to line segment BC, and the line segment AB parallel to line segment DC. This shape is called parallelogram. What is the definition of the parallelogram? It's quadrilateral. In which two opposite sides are parallel. It's quadrilateral in which each two opposite sides are parallel. We have 4 properties for the parallelogram. Each two opposite sides are equal in length. If we have AD 6 centimeter, then the length of line segment BC also 6. If we have the length of line segment AB 4 centimeter, then the length of line segment DC also 4 centimeter. First property, each two opposite sides are equal in length. The second property, each two opposite angles are equal in measure. We have here angle A and angle C are called opposite angle. angle B and angle D are called opposite angle. If we have measure of angle B 60 degree, then its opposite angle D, its measure also 60 degree. And if we have measure of angle A 120 degree, then the opposite angle to A is C is also its measure 120 degree. Number two, again, its two opposite angles are equal in measure. Number three, each two consecutive angles, their sum of measure 180 degree. That means 60 plus B and C are called consecutive. C and D, consecutive angles. D and A and B, all of them, each two angles from them are called two consecutive angles. Their sum of measure 180 degree. 60 plus 120, 180. 120 plus 60, 100 and 120 plus 60, 180. Measure of angle D plus measure of angle A, 180. Measure of angle A plus measure of angle B, 180. Again, each two consecutive angles, their sum of measure 180 degrees. The fourth property, the two diagonals bisect each other. The quadrilateral has two diagonals. Then we pair the two diagonals bisect each other. What does that mean? That means if the two diagonals intersect at the point M, then the length of line segment DM equals the length of line segment MB, and the length of line segment AM equals the length of line segment MC. Okay? And as we said before, we have three special cases on parallelogram. Why we can call special cases? Because each one from them have the same properties, or all of them have the same properties of parallelogram. First shape is rectangle. The rectangle. Rectangle also, each shape has a definition and has properties. Okay. What is the definition of the rectangle? We have A, B, C, D is rectangle. What is the definition of the rectangle? It's a parallelogram in a right angle. What happens if we have one angle from parallelogram, its measure becomes 90 degree. In this case, all the angles becomes 90 degree, it becomes rectangle. Again, it's parallelogram in a right angle. What is the properties of rectangle? Number one, all the properties of parallelogram. The four properties, again, together, the four properties, each two opposite angle, each two opposite side are equal in length. Each two opposite angle are equal in measure. Each two consecutive angles, their sum of measure 180 degree. The two diagonals bisect each other. Okay. Number two, from the properties of rectangle, the property in which make difference between the three shapes, the diagonal of the rectangle are equal in length. That means the length of line segment AC equals the length of line segment DB. If AC equals 6 centimeter, then DB also equals 6 centimeter. The two diagonals of the rectangle are equal in length. The second shape is rhombus. We can draw the rhombus in two ways, like the parallelogram, but all the sides are equal to each other, or we can draw it like a kite, like this, in the form of kite. All the sides of the parallelogram of the rhombus are equal in length also. We have here the shape A, B, C, D is called rhombus. What is the definition of rhombus? It's parallelogram in which two adjacent sides are equal in length. We talked before about the opposite side, but now the adjacent side beside it, not opposite. Adjacent means beside, okay? H2, it's a parallelogram in which two adjacent sides are equal in length. What happened in the parallelogram? If two adjacent sides are equal in length, it all the sides becomes equal each other. It becomes a rhombus. Okay. We have probabilities also for rhombus. Number one, all the probabilities of parallelogram. Now together we said about the four probabilities of parallelogram. Number one, H2 opposite angles, H2 opposite sides are equal in length, H2 opposite angle are equal in measure, H2 consecutive angles, their sum of measure 180 degrees, the two diagonals bisect each other. And as we said before, the second probability is the probability in which make difference between the three shapes, the diagonals. The diagonals of rhombus are perpendicular. Then we said about rectangle, diagonal of rectangle equal in length, and the diagonal of rhombus only perpendicular. In rectangle, diagonal equal, in rhombus, diagonal perpendicular. Okay? Now, we talk about square. What's the difference between rectangle and square? Rectangle, we have length and we have width. But in the square, all the sides are equal each other in length. Okay? If we have the shape A, B, C, D, all the sides are equal each other, all the angles are right angles. Okay? All the angles are right angle. This shape is called square. What is the definition of the square? What is the definition of the square? It's rectangle in which two adjacent sides are equal in length. What happens if the two adjacent sides of the rectangle are equal in length? What are the two adjacent sides in the rectangle? Length and width. What happens if length equal width in the rectangle? It becomes square. The properties of the square, we have two properties. Number one, all the properties of parallelogram. The four properties together, H2 opposite sides are equal in length, H2 opposite angles are equal in measure, H2 consecutive angles, their sum of measure 180 degrees. The two diagonals bisect each other. And the second property of square, in which make difference between the three shapes, is about the diagonal. The diagonal of the square are equal and perpendicular. As we said before, my friends, the diagonal of rectangle equal, the diagonal of rhombus perpendicular, and the diagonal of square equal and perpendicular. Again, the diagonal of the rectangle equal, the diagonal of rhombus perpendicular, the diagonal of the square equal and perpendicular. Now, as we said before, square, rectangle, trapezium, rhombus, circle, triangle, all these are called shapes, But what is the solid? The solid, we have regular solid and irregular solid. The irregular solid, like one potatoes, for example, it's irregular solid, okay? But we study the regular solid, cube, cuboid, cone, cylinder, sphere. Now, the solids. this shape is called, this solid is called cube. The cube has 6 faces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 faces. Okay? Each face is square. We have 12 edges. This is called edge. We have 12 edges. And we have 8 vertices. This is called vertex. This corner, vertex. One is called vertex. More than one is called vertices. Vertices. Again, the cube has 6 faces. Each face is square. It has 12 edges and 8 vertices. And this solid is called cuboid. This solid is called cuboid. The cuboid also has 6 faces, but the face of the cuboid in the form of rectangle. Base of the face of the cube in the form of square. The face of the cuboid in the form of rectangle. It has 6 faces. Each face is rectangle. It has 12 edges and 8 vertices. Okay? This solid is called cone. This solid is called cone. The cone has 1 vertex and 1 base. The cone has 1 vertex and 1 base. The base of the cone looks like, or in the form of, in the shape of the same. The base of the cone looks like circle. The base of the cone looks like circle. This solid is called cylinder. This solid is called cylinder. Okay? The cylinder has 2 bases. The cylinder has 2 bases. The base of the cylinder in the form of circle. The cylinder has 2 bases, and the base of the cylinder in the form of circle. Okay? This solid is called ball or sphere. Sphere or ball, the ball in which we play with it. Okay? Ball or sphere, the same. Ball or sphere, the same. The ball in which we play with it, that's different from circle. Okay? That's the circle only curve. The circle is curve. Circle is shape. But ball or sphere is solid. Circle is only the curve, but the ball or sphere, it has another dimension in which we play with it. It's called ball or sphere. Okay? The sphere, it hasn't faces, it hasn't edges, it hasn't vertices. How many vertices are there in the sphere? 0. How many vertices are there in, how many edges are there in the sphere? 0. Okay? How many faces? 0. Okay? We have also the pyramid. Pyramid. We have triangular pyramid and we have a quadrilateral pyramid. The bond, that's the bond on the number of sides of the base. Pyramid. Pyramid. We have here triangular pyramid. It has 3 faces and 1 base. 3 faces and 1 base. All of them are triangles. We have 6 edges, and we have 4 vertices. The pyramid, triangular pyramid, has 4 vertices. But if you asked me how many vertices are there in triangular pyramid, 4 vertices. But if you asked me how many vertices are there in triangular pyramid without counting the vertices of the base, only 1 vertex. Only 1 vertex. Again, if you asked me how many vertices how many vertices are there in triangular pyramid? 4. 4 vertices. But if he asked me how many vertices are there in triangular pyramid without counting the vertices of the base, it's one vertex. Okay. The last solid is the prism. Last solid is prism. This solid is called prism. This solid is called prism. Okay, we have also triangular prism like this. We have quadrilateral prism, pentagonal prism, and so on. That's depend on the number of sides of the base. Triangular prism now 2 bases and 3 faces. 2 bases and 3 faces. The 2 bases are triangles and the 3 faces are rectangles. The 2 bases are triangles and the 3 faces are rectangles. We have it has 9 edges, okay, 9 edges and 6 vertices. Again, 3 faces and 2 bases, 3 faces and 2 bases. The 2 bases are triangles and the 3 faces are rectangles. It has 9 edges and 6 vertices. Any question, my friends? Jamal, Khalid, any question? Have you understood? Any question, my friends? Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Any question, Jamal?
Thank you, sir.
Thanks. Until we meet again, thanks for you, my friends. Goodbye.